Hi, everybody. I'm Randy Arrington, and welcome to episode 96 of Page Valley Livin'. We're here today with a very special young man here at Page County High School. Senior Joey Miller is the FCCLA National First Vice President. In a few moments, we're going to get him to tell us what all of those letters mean and a little bit more about this student organization that does a whole lot more than just wear red jackets. It teaches a lot about working in our communities and a lot about leadership. And we're going to hear about some of that from Joey, as well as a trip he recently took to Washington, D.C. for the Capital Leadership Conference that is hosted by FCCLA. And he has been involved in this organization for quite a long time. We're going to talk about some family connections he's got in the local chapter and all about his experiences in D.C. and with this national high school organization. We'll talk details and what the red jacket means, maybe in just a few moments. We'll be back after a word from our sponsor. At Luray Caverns, the Smithsonian Institution said, quote, "It is safe to say there is probably no other cave in the world more completely and profusely decorated than that of Luray. Come see Mother Nature showing off, only at Luray Caverns. Visit them online at luraycaverns.com to plan your trip today." Welcome back, everyone, to episode 96 of Page Valley Livin'. Right here with us, a senior at Page County High School today. An impressive young man, Joey Miller. Joey, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, first of all, we're going to start off for the unknowing that know nothing of the red jacket. What in the world do all of these letters mean? We've got FCCLA. What does that stand for?
So FCCLA is Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America.
Okay, and this is a national organization, right?
Yes, sir, for middle and high school students.
You're good with numbers, and I am putting you a little bit on the spot here, but any idea of how many chapters there are in the country? I figure a guy like you might know.
Over 4,000 chapters nationally.
I knew you knew. 4,000 nationally. What about in Virginia? Am I putting you too much on the spot there?
I'm not sure about the chapter number. I know about the membership number in Virginia, though. It's over 10,000 members in Virginia.
Wow, yes. Outstanding. And you represented a whole lot of students at a conference we're going to talk about here in just a minute. But again, for those who have no idea about the group, can you give me maybe like a 60-second thumbnail of what the group is about, the types of things you do?
So FCCLA's mission is to promote personal growth and leadership development through family and consumer sciences education. So it's tied into the family consumer science classes in middle and high schools across the country. And through competitive events, leadership development, community service, and things like that, it helps members better themselves and better their communities while they're doing it.
Give me an example of one or two like events in the competition that you might do.
So FCCLA has a lot of different competitive events. There's STAR events, there's the Knowledge Bowl, there's skill demonstration events, and there's challenge tests. So members can compete in any of those. So for STAR events, there's something called repurposed and redesigned, where members would take something, they would repurpose it or remodel it, and then they would give a presentation to some judges on what they did and how they did it. And then there's another one called interpersonal communication. It's where members identify something they want to change about themselves. They take steps to fix that thing, and then they give a presentation to judges on how they've done that. And then there's the Knowledge Bowl, where it's just information about things like consumer rights, things like that, different categories, kind of like Scholastic Bowl.
Okay.
There's the challenge tests. Those are tests that members can do on different knowledge topics, like FCCLA knowledge, or there's other tests too. And then there's the skill demonstration events, where members can take something they already know how to do and demonstrate that skill. There's different categories for that.
And we're going to circle back to some of those things in the second segment where we dig in a little deeper about FCCLA and what it's meant to you and what you and other students have gained from this club and organization, because it's not just an ordinary after-school club. It's a lot of involvement there, travel. And talking about travel, you went to the nation's capital November 15th through the 19th to participate in the Capital Leadership Conference. And the one thing that I find very interesting about that, and I believe you were invited because you are the FCCLA National I emphasize and italicize that word, first vice president.
Yes,
Tell me a little bit about what happened in D.C.
So in DC, over 400 members gathered there to learn about advocacy, learn about leadership, and then take what they learned and advocate for family consumer science education and career and technical education with their lawmakers on Capitol Hill.
Wow. Wow. And that, I mean, that's some big time stuff for folks that young. What's the age range of the folks who were maybe there?
So there were some middle schoolers there, but mainly 9th through 12th graders.
9 through 12. So give me an example of some of the, I don't know, workshops or you know, the actual things you did.
So one thing that really stuck out to me, one of my favorite workshops, was one of the Senate Judiciary Committee's speakers. He came and he actually talked about advocacy on the Hill. That was a really interesting thing because he sees that firsthand every day. And then some of FCCLA's leadership training team, which are college students who used to be in FCCLA and now they're advocating for it, they came and they educated us on advocacy and leadership skills.
Wow. And you were there for, was it 4 days?
Yes, sir.
So are you going to multiple workshops every day, or how did the 4 days kind of flow?
So the first day was just the travel day, everybody came down.
Sure.
The next day was a full day of leadership training, just teaching everything, kind of started from the basics and then got more into specific things for what they might need to know when they're on the Hill. Then the next day was a career and technical panel. So people that represented FCCLA's career clusters came and they talked about what they do and things like that. Then after that, we did a Hill Day role play. And that was where the national officers got to pretend to be either staffers or members of Congress, and we got to ask questions and things. So we represented like different people they might run into.
Okay.
And then there was the workshop with the guy from the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he kind of gave basics on what to do.
Wow. When you were pretending to be the members, were you actually allowed to get on the floor? Or?
No, we were not. That was
Okay.
unfortunately, yeah.
Well, you know, when I used to send employees to conferences, the one thing I would make them do when they came back to justify the hotel fees and the dinner fees and all that was to tell me about one thing, just one. Didn't have to be a whole list or categories. Just one thing that they brought back from that conference that was going to help them do their job better. What was one thing that you learned at this conference in D.C. that's either going to help you be a better leader or a better member or leader within FCCLA?
So one thing that really stuck out to me, and this might sound basic, but when you're meeting with people like that, time is of the essence. When you get in there, they don't want to hear your ramble. They want you to get to the point. They want to know what you're doing and what they can best do to support you. So that was something we really focused on, was how to get in there and really sell your story, how to use personal connections you might have or tell your story so that way they're more interested in helping you.
Well, you know, it sounded to me like FCCLA it does more than just teach public speaking. It does more than just teach leadership. It teaches some real world skills. And some of these projects and all you all talk about is real world stuff, looking at real world problems.
Yes.
You know, would you agree with that statement?
I would definitely agree with that, yes. Teaches a lot of career readiness skills.
Career readiness. Well, I tell you, it looks like it has worked on you. And we're going to talk about that red jacket, the meaning, and a few more details about FCCLA when we come back in just a moment after another word from our sponsor. At Luray Caverns, you can hear music of symphonic quality from ancient stone formations on the great stalacpipe organ, the largest musical instrument in the world, only at Luray Caverns. Visit them online at luraycaverns.com to plan your trip today. Hi, everybody, and welcome back once again here to the library at Page County High School, where I'm talking to Senior Joey Miller about his experiences in FCCLA, the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. And before we move on to some specifics about FCCLA, we were talking there during the break about one thing. Maybe we left out about your visit to D.C. You had a very neat experience during that conference. Tell me about it.
Yes, sir. So while we were there, we went over to Arlington National Cemetery, and then I, alongside 3 of the other national officers, got to lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. So that was a very great experience.
Wow, wow. And how many of you were involved in that?
So 4 of us, there's 10 national officers, and 4 of us got to lay the wreath.
Oh, wow, wow. And I guess the other attendees were there for that ceremony?
Yes, sir.
And was the guard there that is always?
Yes, it was very nice. So we got to watch the changing of the guard.
Oh,
and
wow.
then one of the members of the tomb guard came up and led us down and had us lay the wreath. It was a really great ceremony.
Talk about procedure. That is something that is precise, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they
very
were
precise.
a lot of steps to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Well, we promised everybody that we would tell them about the red jacket. So tell me about, what does the red mean? What does it symbolize? I believe the colors of FCCLA are red and white.
Yes, sir.
What do they symbolize?
So red is for strength, courage, and determination. So that's obviously the color of the blazer. And then white stands for sincerity of purpose.
Well, it really stands out when someone, you know, I remember they used to send pictures into the paper. As soon as you saw the red jacket, you knew exactly what was going on. How many students are in the local chapter here at Page, approximately, if you don't know exactly?
Approximately here at Page County High School, we have a little over 300 members, I believe. So it's a good amount.
300?
Yeah. So a lot of students that are in FCS classes, Family Consumer Science classes, FCCLA offers an unlimited membership package.
Okay.
So for members that are already in the class, for a flat fee, you can affiliate them. So that way they're able to participate in all the activities that we do.
I thought you were going to say like 30.
No.
300?
Yes, sir.
That's got to make it like the biggest club at Page.
Probably one of them at least, for sure.
Wow, I had no idea. And I know Luray has a great program as
Yes,
well.
sir.
I think theirs is a little smaller.
Yeah.
And it has also gone down to the middle school levels.
Yes, sir.
As well. I don't know if that's a new thing in the last 5-10 years, or if that's been going on for a while, but
Yes.
that's an interesting that it carries through from middle school to high school. 300 members. You sure about that?
Yes, sir.
That is incredible. So tell me a little bit now about, you were talking earlier about the trips and the places that you have been and seen. Not to sound too much like Dr. Seuss, but tell me where you have been and what you've seen.
Yeah, FCCLA has allowed me to go to a lot of great places. I've been to Florida, California, Colorado, Texas, all throughout different conferences. So there's definitely more, but those are the ones that have stood out to me the most.
Wow, and these conferences are for different things. So what was one, tell me about one that stood out for you, and what specifically was done at that conference.
So the one for me that definitely stood out was this past summer. We went to Orlando, Florida, and that's where I ran for national office. So that was definitely a great experience going through that whole process.
Wow.
But I really liked just the general sessions, you know, getting to see people up on stage, getting awards, and then members compete in competitive events, like I mentioned earlier. And then also there's workshops led both by students and by adults, some by the leadership training team, some by advisors, that teach a plethora of different skills.
Now, we talked earlier about you have a little family connection in the local chapter. What's that?
So my mom is my advisor, so I've always gotten to go on these trips and things, so it's definitely set me up for success in the
And the
organization.
students don't call her mom, so we want to let everybody know it's Jenny Miller.
Yes.
Jenny Miller, and along with, who's the other sponsor?
Oh, we have Miss Destiny Campbell as well.
That's right.
yes.
And they evidently are doing a heck of a job, because this program has had such a reputation for so long. If I'm not mistaken, this chapter stands out not only within the state of Virginia, but nationally, right?
Yes, sir, for sure.
Y'all have won some national awards. You've got a national officer, and you've also got the Virginia State President here at
Yes.
Page County High School.
Yes.
Who is that?
So that's Veronica Yoro, so she's currently serving as the state president.
How is it that these Panthers are dominating so much in FCCLA?
We've just always been a very involved chapter, just as long as when my mom was in high school. It's always just been a very involved and dedicated chapter to the organization.
And very big. I mean, so when you go to these conferences, what is the highest number of kids or students you'll take?
We'll have 20 or so that will go to the
Okay.
state conference, and then 10 to 15 that will go to the national conference, as long as they qualify to compete.
And you said Orlando was your favorite, but I can't believe California wouldn't have been.
Yeah, so I haven't actually, I think the reason I say Orlando is because I was elected to be a national officer there, but
Oh,
San
right,
Diego is
right.
definitely a cool place to get to experience as
San
well.
Diego,
Yes.
California. That is great that the club offers you that experience as well, to travel and meet all these different students and do these different projects. So you've had many projects over the years that you've done for these competitions. Tell me about your favorite project, maybe the one you're most proud of.
So 2 years ago, we did a project for the national program Stand Up, which is all about advocacy in your community. So there is a historically African American cemetery here in Shenandoah. And so over a couple months, we spent time cleaning it up, but then also researching who was buried there, because a lot of the graves were unmarked. There was a lot of overgrowth and everything. So we wanted to make sure that those names were heard and that the community knew about it. So after that, some of our members went to the Shenandoah Town Council and discussed it and wanted to make sure that it was being honored in the community.
Now, so you had to go to the council, make a presentation, and then go out. So where was the graveyard located?
It's out on Grove Hill River Road, off a road out there.
Wow.
Out there. So.
And so you cleaned it up and identified. Wow.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that talking about making an impact. Mm-hmm. Did you meet anyone from some of those descendant families?
Unfortunately not. A lot of them don't live in the area anymore.
I see,
it was more, we were using like Ancestry.com and the census records and things to identify who was there.
Wow, that's tremendous. That is admirable. That's a great project. So let's talk a little bit more about FCCLA. What is their stated mission, or you don't have to quote the handbook, but what do you think the mission of FCCLA is?
Like I mentioned earlier, just to promote personal growth and leadership development through family consumer sciences education. But going deeper than that, it really is about bettering your community and helping members better themselves.
And these students, like you said, you gave an illustration of how they're doing projects in the community. Mm-hmm. So there's community involvement. You're having to deal with local leaders, helping you build your own leadership skills. What is it you've been in? I mean, you are like a pro at this thing, because you've been doing this since when?
So I've been involved in FCCLA as an official member since I was in 6th grade, and I was a state officer for the first time when I was in 8th grade.
Wow. That's pretty good. And now you're a national officer. I mean, that's got to be the envy of some of the other folks at the conference. I mean, how many people are on that executive council?
There's 10.
There's 10?
Yes.
So you 10 guys are running the show for 4,000 chapters across the country.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. And so what has it meant to you? I mean, what are some of the things you've gotten out of it? What has it meant to you personally to be a member of this organization and you work your way up through it over the years?
I mean, FCCLA really means the world to me. I mean, I've been seeing this stuff since I was so young, going to these conferences, getting to experience everything. Seeing the national officers up on stage when I was really young, it was always a dream to be a national officer. So being able to join in the first place in 6th grade was great, because I was finally able to participate in a lot of these things. And then as I got older, running for state office was a great opportunity. But finally being able to be a national officer, getting elected to that, is just a dream come true. FCCLA has taught me so many skills, leadership skills, public speaking, but really networking skills, advocacy skills, things like that. And on a deeper level, it's really just made me a more confident and just a better person overall. So it really just is amazing to be able to be in the spot where I am.
Well, it shows through. Your confidence, you're well-spoken, you got a level head on your shoulders. I think you have a bright future ahead of you. If you had to name, now obviously you just named a bunch of things and a bunch of positive things that you've gotten out of FCCLA. But if you had to name one thing that you think you will carry with you on later in life that's going to benefit you the most, what do you think that would be?
I really do think it's the confidence that it instills in its members. I want to be a lawyer in the future, so that's something that I would definitely need for that. So it's something that a lot of people don't have maybe coming into the organization. It helps you find yourself and gives you that, so it's a great opportunity.
I hope if I ever walk into a courtroom and see you, you're on the right side with me. I tell you what, I would hate to go up against you. I tell you what, we'll wrap things up here today. And a great organization, FCCLA, as we said, very successful here at Page County High School. It has a long history of success, and obviously continuing here with Joey. But I was sitting here wondering before we were talking, what really makes FCCLA unique? We talked about the public speaking aspect, and there's obviously public speaking clubs, there's debate clubs, there's FFA that does a lot with presentations and public speaking. We talked about camaraderie, the fact you build these relationships with the fellow students who are doing this and go on these conferences, but that could be said of a sports team or a lot of other clubs. What is it about these red coat folks that make them so unique and so effective?
I really think it's FCCLA's focus on both the family and on members just finding themselves and teaching them these skills. Teaching about the family, helping you better the family is the basic unit of society, and also just finding yourself, giving you the skills to succeed, and just really helping you become a better person throughout your years in the organization.
And not to be repetitive, I'm going to let you have the last word, and I'm going to let you have a little pitch here. So if we look right out there and look at all these people that are watching here, what would you say to someone in high school or maybe middle school who is considering joining this organization, but they're not quite sure, they don't know what it's about? What would you say to encourage them to get involved?
So FCCLA is going to give you the skills to succeed in your future careers, in your households, in your communities. It's going to teach you things like public speaking, confidence, networking skills, all these things that you're going to need in the future. And it's a great organization to join if you're looking for college credits, anything like that. So it's a great organization. I highly recommend that you join.
Well said. They need to put you on the marketing team. Joey Miller, thank you so much for joining us today and talking about FCCLA. We hope you've enjoyed our episode here. If you have, make sure you hit that like button and share the video with a friend. And also sign up and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Page Valley News. You can put it right in the search engine right there on YouTube and pull up all of our previous 95 episodes. We also want to thank Eleanor Arrington for all of her work behind the camera today and in the editing room this week. And as we end each and every show, we want to remind you to go down to the Page County Animal Shelter and help one of our furry friends find a forever home. Until next week, for Joey Miller, I'm Randy Arrington from the library here at Page County High School, telling you to enjoy that Page Valley living.